Welcome to the Geeks and Greeks podcast, where we bring in the latest and greatest in the world of sports. We couldn't be more thrilled to kick off this exciting journey with all of you. In this podcast, we'll dive into everything from game recaps to news and hot takes. Whether you're a diehard fan or just someone looking to stay in the loop, there's something here for everyone. So grab your favorite team's jersey, settle in with some snacks, and let's get ready for an adrenaline-packed ride through the world of sports. All right, that's a sound of applause for the teams finally making it to the Super Bowl. We have come to the end of the season, and the goddamn Eagles have made it back.
That's right, boys. That is right. It is a celebration. I got a little something. I swear to God,
that was Jason Kelce out there shooting fireworks in Philadelphia.
Dude, that was so great. Did you see that there was another video of a dude shooting a handgun in the air? The people of Philly are fucking crazy.
I mean, it's a dude shooting a handgun in Philly. I mean, that's just everyday life.
I mean, yeah. Usually not in a crowd of people, though.
Okay, well, maybe that's fair. I'll give you that. All right, guys, we got a show for you today. Being they have a conference championship recap for this week. We've also got Pro Bowl for the weekends, player critiques. We got the Pro Bowl promotion and event critiques for the entire weekend as well. We've got our NBA game of the week recap, plus this week's NBA game of the week as well, and also some NFL news and our trivia segment as well. So we will go ahead and get started, and we'll start off with the conference game recaps.
All right.
So we had Bills at Chiefs. Adam went with the Bills, but Pete and I thought the Chiefs would take it. And with a score of 32-29, the Chiefs will represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
That was another crazy game, man. Yeah. Like, the Chiefs keep managing to win these really, really close games. And while it's easy to say that, like, the Bills just didn't do enough to win the game, like, I don't know how. Like, you watch that game and it's like, I don't think Kansas City deserved to win that game. And they still managed to.
I feel like that's been the theme for Kansas City for the season, though. Like, I don't feel like Kansas City deserved to win, like, at least a quarter of the games this season. I don't know how they do it. It's like, I don't know if it's just, like, Mahomes kind of just, like, going through the motions of the game until, like, the last 5 minutes of the game, and then just kind of like, all right, I guess I'll go do what I got to go do now to get the win, or what? I don't know.
Yeah. There's one thing to say, like, oh, he doesn't want to give it all away, but, like, it's the AFC Championship. Like, what are you holding back for at this point? I mean, they finally beat all the critics were like, oh, there's only one team in the NFL that's never scored more than 30 points, and it's the Kansas City Chiefs. And they're like, well, screw you. We'll get 32.
Like, barely
beat it.
There was a point in the fourth quarter that I thought the Bills would hold them to a tie and take it into overtime. But then they just started screwing up left, right, and center with, like, face mask and all this stupid, keep your head down and keep the score tight and you'll win, or, well, at least take it overtime.
Right.
Maybe that's why the Chiefs kept the games close all season, was to, like, learn how to play tight in those last 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little too conspiracy theory, from my opinion. Like, it's hard enough to win a football game, but to win it in a specific fashion, I just feel like it's difficult to believe that actually happened.
I'm not saying I believe him. I don't know. Like, it's just, I don't know what else to chalk it up to other than the fact that they're just getting lucky every game.
The referees are on their side every game.
Black
I don't want to
magic.
believe that. Like,
Black magic.
I hate being that person. It's hard not to be sometimes, but I hate being that person.
You know what it is Patrick Mahomes sold his soul to State Farm for a few Super Bowl wins.
I heard one of the greatest things this week, and it was someone saying that comparing Patrick Mahomes to Michael Jordan, and someone was like, "You don't think Patrick Mahomes is closer to LeBron?" And they're like, "No, because Jordan won championships. LeBron doesn't."
Damn.
I'm like, "Ooh,
damn."
Wow." I mean, yeah.
My Sixers just beat LeBron James yesterday.
Shoot, that stings.
Yeah.
So moving along to the NFC, or the battle for the NFC East.
Yes.
We had Adam took the Commanders to win, but Pete and I were seeing green. Last week, I called a some score of 50. What I should have said is equal score of 50.
I do want to say, you were like, yeah, Pete, I'm along your lines, but I do think it's going to be a some score of 50. I called for 34-17. That's 51 points.
Yeah, I figured that out after we ended. I was like, wait a minute, so did Pete.
Yeah. But it's a celebration, boys. 55 points, the most a team has put up in a playoff game. And it's not Super Bowl, so we got a little mini bottle of champagne to go. And
I'm waiting for him to hit
shit.
himself in the face.
If I can open it. Celebration, boys. We won the championship. Let's go. Got a little mini bottle of champagne. Cheers.
Oh, man.
There you go. You know what?
55 points, though. I mean, insane.
You want to hear about insane? How about the refs threatening a rule that hasn't been used in 50 years?
It's like the NFL equivalent of being, if you kids don't calm down, I'm going to turn this car around.
So,
my God.
So I got. Oh, go ahead.
That was probably one of the highlights of the entire weekend too. It was like one of the funniest things. And like, even though this game wasn't really close after halftime, this game was still way more entertaining than Chiefs and Bills. Like, this was still more fun to watch.
Oh man.
It's like, all right, they're lined up on the 1. They're going to tush push. What do we do?
Go over the top.
Go over the top 10 seconds early and just hit them. My God.
I was really fascinated by this rule, the palpably unfair act. And I investigated. It's never been used in the NFL. The only time I can find it is high school and college ball, and it's always when someone is cleared for a touchdown and they're all alone, and some guy on the bench runs off and knocks him over.
Oh man, that's great.
But I did love that after Saquon got his hat trick, they put in Will Shipley, and Will Shipley got himself a touchdown.
I know. We benched our starters in the NFC Championship game. Let's think about that. We're at the NFC Championship. We're winning by so many points that Nick Sirianni's like, let's save Saquon for the Super Bowl. Like that was a sentence that was said on the Philadelphia sideline. How awesome is that?
And I also got to give a shout out to Will Shipley, because I love an athlete that I'm taller than.
I got to say that I just love Saquon's story. And I don't know if you guys watched any of the after game stuff, but he was being interviewed and he looked like he was about to cry. And it's like, it's got to mean so much to him. Like, after everything with the Giants and them not wanting to pay him and like basically telling him he's too old to make any money, and he goes out and does this in the team that he grew up a fan of, like it's got to be great. I'm loving it.
Oh,
I can't wait to put up 50 points on Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
Did you hear about Saquon for the Super Bowl? How it's his birthday?
I did hear that it's his birthday. I wasn't sure. I never verified.
Yep, he turns 28 on Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, best birthday present ever?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're going to have a parade in his honor. Knock on wood.
You know what? I hope so.
Oh. It's fitting, and I know how much you want your three-peat, buddy, but
I do.
the 2022 Super Bowl was Eagles-Chiefs, and that was the first game of what could become the three-peat, and it is going to be nice to bookend it with Eagles-Chiefs again, with the Eagles denying them for the three-peat.
That would be
As much as I've been picking the Chiefs to win, and as much as I've been saying it through this whole time, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, don't think a three-peat is possible. And I don't think Mahomes can make the mistakes that he did against the Bills, the mistakes he did against the Texans, and beat a team that can put up 55 points on the Commanders. I just don't think he can.
No, this Eagles defense is just scary. I think this is the best defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I think this is the best defense in the NFL we've seen in a long time.
I'm waiting for him to rename the Peanut Punch to the Eagles Punch, man, because every single one of our defenders can do it.
Speaking of Eagles defense, I was literally in the middle of writing an article about how Quinion Mitchell may have been drafted too early, and then I watched this mofo crab a catch in the end zone in the most unlikely catch of the game.
Yeah, man. Quinion Mitchell might be Rookie of the Year. Nah. Just kidding.
No, there's
kidding.
too much competition there.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is, his hats off to Jaden Daniels because he's only the 6th rookie to ever make it to the championship game. No rookie's ever won a championship game, so it's not like he's missing something. He played more games than any rookie's ever played in. I think, honestly, I can't think of another rookie that's had as good of a season as he is. Like, yeah, CJ Stroud had a great year last year. But somebody that would be as good and consistently good and not falling apart in clutch situations the way Jaden Daniels. I mean, he was still, if you look at him, he had blood pressure of like 80/20 and, the most steady heart rate I've ever seen in my life. And he's in the NFC Championship losing to 55 points. And you can't tell. He might as well be sitting in the library reading a book. Like, it was insane. Man is ice.
And honestly, like, when you look at the NFC landscape for quarterbacks, he's like easily within the top 5 of the entire NFC going forward. Like, he's one of the best NFC quarterbacks already after his rookie season. Like, there's very few NFC quarterbacks I take over this guy already.
Yeah. He'll be back. That's for sure.
I mean, it's scary to say that he's already that good as a rookie.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure who else has set up to have that much success in the future that early.
Yeah.
And who knows if Commander fans had left the Rocky Balboa statue alone, maybe he would have won.
Exactly.
I was really blown away when I heard about this Rocky Balboa curse because it seems to be a legit thing.
I actually haven't heard of this. What is the Rocky Balboa curse?
Oh, okay. So there have been 5 incidences where the opposing team going against the Eagles has vandalized the Rocky Balboa statue outside the art museum.
Right.
It happened. The first time was in 2017. The Vikings did it, covered him in Vikings gear.
Yeah, I remember that.
NFC Championship, Eagles smashed them 38-7. Fast forward to the next year for Super Bowl 52, Patriots decked out Rocky, Eagles win 41-33. Fast forward to 2022. Happened twice. Ahead of the divisional round, the Giants did it. Eagles beat them 37-7. And the following week, because maybe they thought the gun was empty, San Francisco decided to do it, and then the Eagles smash them 31-7. Now, this was funny because that means that was the year that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and Travis Kelce begged Kansas City fans not to vandalize Rocky.
Oh, man.
So they didn't, and the Chiefs won.
I almost want to go put a Chiefs jersey on Rocky right now.
But it's so funny. You can go online and find the pictures of the vandalism right next to the box scores of the games that they lost.
Oh, that's great.
You can go find a Kelsey jersey and a Mahomes wig and go put them on the Rocky Balboa statue.
Right, there it is. Just get like a little Jake from State Farm cardboard cutout and put it next to him.
Or find the Jake wig and put it on like the fist that's going up, so he's
right.
holding the wig in the fist.
Right.
Little speech bubble that says "Fumble Rooski."
Oh shit.
One quick thing before we move on from the Super Bowl is, Adam, we need a new prediction from you of who's going to win the Super Bowl.
I don't want to. They've been wrong. Like, I don't want to curse a team. All right. Well, I mean, I want to see Philly win this. I really do.
Yep.
Like, I think at this point they've just ran through everybody at this point.
Yeah.
And I think it just come full circle that with this, I really want to see Philly win this year. I really do. I want to see Saquon's story come. I want to see Saquon get his redemption. And I think it'd be awesome to see him win a Super Bowl on his birthday, too.
Yeah.
After what he went through and what happened with New York and everything. I'm picking Philadelphia to win this.
Nice.
And
like,
if that on the field reporter doesn't say happy birthday, he should be shot.
I'm not saying that. I don't want this to be. Honestly, it's one of those where it wouldn't be a good game, but I don't want it to be close. I want Philly to just blow them out too.
Revenge.
I mean, the way Kansas City's played this year, it shouldn't be close.
Yeah.
Like, they really, honestly, should not even be a close game.
You know, it's funny because I was more threatened by the Bills by the end of that game than I was by Kansas City. And it's mostly because of the Bills' defense and their ability to create turnovers. And I wasn't positive the Eagles were going to be able to win the turnover battle against the Bills, but I know they're going to win the turnover battle against the Chiefs. And I know last week I called for Mahomes to be picked off 3 times. I think I was being a little too specific there, and I am just saying, I just want to say 3 turnovers caused by Patrick Mahomes. Not necessarily interceptions, but
Right.
3 turnovers, I think.
Like, I mean, I don't think the Chiefs have had that good of a defense this year.
No, not at all.
Their defense has been middle of the road at best, and I don't think you can have a middle of the road defense going in against the Eagles. You just can't. I mean, this team is just too good. Especially the run game with Saquon. You cannot give this up. I mean, it's insane. Like,
Yeah.
it's.
You know what I really hope happens after the Super Bowl, though? Is I hope the Eagles win, and they're going to give the Lombardi Trophy out, and they're letting all the celebrities onto the stage, and Taylor Swift is standing there with her dad, and her dad gets to walk onto the stage, and Taylor Swift is left behind with all the Chiefs fans. That would be perfect.
So bad.
It's one of those situations where she lined herself up that she can't lose, right? Because it's like well documented in her music that she's an Eagles fan, but she's dating a Chief, so she can't lose this game, right? And then I guess My girlfriend was just in town to visit, so I got all the Taylor Swift updates, obviously. Um, but she apparently went to high five her dad during a Chiefs game, and he like snubbed her and like moved his hands right before she swung. And she's like high fived air because their dad's a diehard Eagles fan, which is just fantastic to me.
That is funny.
That's crazy.
That's going to be even funnier when they get Jason and Travis Kelce with Taylor and her dad. It's like, no, I was just going to say I was really optimistic about the Chiefs until Sunday, where I got to see an Eagles game immediately next to a Chiefs game, and it's like, wow, okay. Yeah, this is gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I'm still hopeful for a three-peat just because it's never happened, but at the same time, both outcomes would be amazing for me. So,
I mean, from what I'm looking at here with the Chiefs, I mean, it looks like they allowed almost 4 yards an attempt rushing this year.
Yeah, wow.
Like, you can't do that against Philly, man. Like, their defense was not good this year.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see them having a good game. I don't know. I don't think this is going to be necessarily a close game, which I know doesn't always make for an exciting game, but
it depends.
this is
what
not a
side
team
of the
that should be in
ball
the
you're
Super Bowl,
on.
I don't think.
Did you guys happen to look up the scoregami score of 55 to 23?
No.
No.
Is that one?
Scoregami of 2. You want to take a guess on the other team
Oh,
or the other game?
I couldn't even begin to imagine.
The Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos on Halloween in 1988 is the only time that another score has been 55 to 23.
That is crazy.
Nice.
So in our lifetimes, but just barely.
Just barely. I was going to say 88. I don't think I was a Colts fan quite yet.
88, I didn't know who the Colts were.
Yeah, me neither. All I know is that was pre-Jeff George.
Yeah, for sure.
Only by 2 years. He was drafted in 90.
Let's see. Who were the Colts quarterback?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. No way. Hold up.
Who was it?
You know who the quarterback of the Colts was in 1988?
No.
Eric Dickerson.
Oh, really? Yeah.
The guy Saquon was chasing all season. Chris Chandler was their quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
know the
don't
name.
even know who that is.
He was I know him more for being the quarterback for the Falcons in the mid to late 90s.
Yes, sir. 97 to 2001. Preceded Michael Vick, I assume.
Yeah, he was there when the Falcons went to the Super Bowl, or like right before they went. I don't think they made it, but they were there like in the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
Man.
yep.
PHO.
All right. So,
The Phoenix Cardinals.
Moving along to the Pro Bowl section of the podcast. First, we're going to take a look at player selection. I got to give a shout out to the Eagles and Chiefs for having 6 Eagles and 5 Chiefs that made it to the Pro Bowl and will not be participating, as is the way of the Pro Bowl.
You mean they're not going to show up for the game that means nothing the week before the Super Bowl?
And
And it's flag football anyway?
I'm guessing more that was it more the Chiefs were either on defense or like offensive line because there wasn't besides for the offense. Who else made it besides Pat?
Oh, for Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chris Jones was the only defense chief,
Wow.
and Travis Kelce, Joe Thuney.
Kelsey made it. He had a shit year.
He did
How
have a
did he
shit
make
year.
the Pro Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
Reputation, my friend. Reputation.
He's the reserve behind Brock Bowers, though.
That's still sad. He had a terrible season.
I mean, I wouldn't. He had a terrible for Jason Kelsey season.
He still didn't have a
Travis Kelce.
He didn't
Travis
even have a
Kelce,
good
sorry.
season for a tight end.
I don't know. Let me see. Let me look up his numbers. Hold on, because I don't know if that's necessarily true.
I'm betting he didn't have more than like 600 yards.
What? No way. 823,
Oh, okay.
and he had.
I guess.
But he only had 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So
So I guess by normal tight end standards, that's not terrible.
yeah.
But Joe Thuney and Quentin Nelson of the Colts are
okay.
the O-guard. Trey Smith is the backup. And then Creed Humphrey is the center. And then for the Eagles, surprise, surprise, Saquon Barkley, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, and Cam Jurgens were all your offensive side
So
of the
the
ball.
offensive line.
Saquon and the O-line of the Eagles.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
And then for the D side, they went Jalen Carter and Zach Bond.
Jalen Carter and Zach Bond. Good guys.
Zach Bond didn't ring any bells, but I assume he's...
Really? Zach Bond had a pretty solid year. He came over from the Saints, I believe. This is his first year in Philadelphia.
But to be fair, it's defense, and
bit
usually you don't hear someone on the defense unless they screwed up. So
Yeah.
not hearing about him is probably a good thing.
Right.
I mean, we had a
I was curious your guys' thoughts on quarterback selection.
I mean,
for
AFC makes sense. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I mean, Burrow and Allen are both replaced, though, which doesn't make any sense. They're just not going to play.
yeah,
I don't know why they're replaced. I don't know why they're not playing. And the dudes they were replaced by don't make any sense to me. Why the hell is Russell Wilson and Drake May being at the Pro Bowl?
there it is. I was like, oh, did you get an updated list?
Yeah, I'm on NFL.com is where I'm at.
Okay,
Somehow ended
because
up
I had
Patriots.com.
Russell Wilson and Drake May, and I was like, wait
Yeah,
a minute.
updated as of yesterday at 2 o'clock.
Oh, jeez.
There we go.
So
But-
yeah, apparently the initial selection was Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson.
Correct.
But both Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have been replaced by Russell Wilson and Drake May. Why Russell Wilson and Drake May? I don't know. I'm guessing no one else wanted to go.
Yeah, I
no
mean,
one else wanted
I
to go
can
to
see
Florida.
Russell Wilson as an alternate. But Drake May?
I can't even see Russell Wilson as an alternate because Russell Wilson didn't play that well. Like there was better guys that could go.
He also didn't play the whole season.
Right. Like, I mean, if I'm going to give a dude a chance to go to the Pro Bowl, I'd rather be like, hey, Fields, you want to go? I mean, they're both free agents anyway. Why not?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
I mean,
and
at least
since-
Drake May is going to be on the Patriots next year. Russell Wilson's not even going to be on the Steelers, probably. They've released
Right.
him.
No way. But since we have to have balance, the NFC side of the fence, I get Jared Goff and I get Jaden Daniels. Why did you ask Sam Darnold?
Because Sam Darnold actually had a good year.
But he's still Sam Darnold.
He's the same
Right,
Darnold.
but he still is same Darnold, but there's no pressure because it's the Pro Bowl. so he can still sling the ball around.
Because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean it is flag football, so it's not like he's
Yeah.
going to get sacked.
All right.
He's not going to
fair
actually get
enough.
hit.
All right,
But
I didn't look
Jaden-
at it like that.
And Jaden was replaced. Jaden's not even playing.
Oh, that's
Baker
right.
took his
Alright.
spot.
So, I mean, knowing that you can't have anybody on Philadelphia or Kansas City, who would you pick over Sam Darnold? You've already got Jared Goff and Jaden Daniels picked. Who would you
And
be?
Jaden's been replaced. Jaden's not playing.
Oh, right, but he's being replaced by Baker Mayfield.
Yeah,
And
so
it's
you don't.
gotta
So
be-
Baker's.
And it's got to be NFC side of the fence.
Yeah.
Who
do
would you pick?
Like, I'm okay with Sam Darnold. I mean, if it's not Sam Darnold, what? Matt Stafford, Gino. I know what. I'd be cool with Geno Smith going.
I'd take
He's
Darnold
local.
over. I'd take Sam Darnold over Geno, though. At least this year.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know. It's the Pro Bowl, so
Mm.
I don't know.
How come CeeDee
Yeah,
Lamb's
fair
not
enough.
going? Looking at this, is he injured? Or has
No.
he just got sour grapes?
No, he's going. Oh,
He's
yeah,
been replaced, yeah.
He's replaced. Probably just doesn't want to go, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, why is Amon-Ra St. Brown not going? Just
I mean, yeah, but I'm in Ralph St. Brown as a reason for sour grapes. Like, CeeDee Lamb, he should have been over that shit like 2 weeks ago.
right. I mean, it's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no real reason. I mean, other than, like I said, I mean, back to the Sam Darnold. I don't know, Kyler Murray. Like, again, I'm cool with that's why I'm cool with Sam Darnold going. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
It's
get your point. He's really
Kirk
good when
James.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
A quick little note on the Pro Bowl for the amazing promotion campaign. I mean, I know all about everything that's going to be happening in this Pro Bowl.
Yeah?
No, I know where it is and when it is. That's about it. I know it's $24 to get through the door, and they got nothing. They said it's an AFC versus NFC flag football, and then there's fan favorite new skill competitions. They don't say what. And then it's the post-game trophy celebration. That's all that's covered with your $24.
Well, there you go. You going to
Nothing.
Miami? Or is it what? Orlando, rather?
Yeah, Orlando.
Orlando? You going?
No.
You know, if it's only $24, that's actually a pretty good deal, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
You
got to
get
get to Orlando first.
Now, do you think they'll break the WrestleMania 33's record of 75,000 people in that stadium?
Not a damn chance.
No. I can't imagine. You know what, though? Like, they are going to get probably a good, 50,000 people to show up, which is... It's impressive. Like, to get that many people to show up to a flag football game and watch a bunch of guys catching footballs falling off of drones, that's kind of incredible.
It's kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Even 10,000 people, it's like, wow, I'm shocked that many people wanted to show up for that.
Right.
You know, hypothetically, if the Eagles were not in the Super Bowl and you had 6 Eagles that you knew were going to be there, would you pay $24 to maybe get an autograph? I think that might be a thing.
I mean, if it was in Philly or New York,
No,
maybe
fair point.
Baltimore, but I'm not going all the way to Florida for that shit.
I mean, you have a reason to go to Florida, though.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if more than a handful of your favorite football players you know are all going to be in the same place, $24 to maybe get an autograph or two wouldn't be a bad thing.
I
You know
mean,
what? Honestly, even if I didn't live in Orlando directly, but just lived around there, shit, $24 to get into this game to get autographs from any of these all-star players would get me in the game.
oh, dude, if I lived in Orlando, I would be there, no question. For
Right.
$24, hell yeah. That's like the price of a Mayfair. I'm definitely going to that.
Right. I mean, I just wish they promote it more. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I remember back when we were kids, dude. We used to see advertisements for the Pro Bowl all the time.
hmm I
Like,
remember.
they used to hype up the skills competitions all the time, especially the quarterback skills competitions. And it was like one of the coolest things ever to see, like Breeze and Brady and like all these dudes competing for like the accuracy and like the longest throw and all this other stuff. It was so cool to see it and watch it.
Yeah.
And to
I
see them out
live-
there talking shit to each other like without the pads and like just to see them like going at it. It was fun as hell.
Oh man, I lived in one of the smallest towns in Indiana growing up, and even we had giant 30-foot banners for the Pro Bowl on Main Street, and that was a thing. And sure, the next week it was taken down and put up a 30-foot banner for the Super Bowl, but still, it was
Right.
there.
Right.
No, it wasn't because the Pro Bowl was after the Super Bowl at that point.
For a while, it
Oh,
was.
is that what
yeah.
it was?
Yeah, it was the Super Bowl, then the
I-
Pro Bowl.
I always remember the
remember
campaigns
that
that were
now.
like, "There's one more game,
Yeah,
the Pro Bowl," and it's like, yep.
Sure, why not?
that was well, because the thing then was it was always in Hawaii because it
Yep.
was at the Aloha Bowl.
Yep.
Yep.
And then also the losing team of the conferences was always the coach of the two different teams.
Yeah.
And Andy Reid was at 4 out of 5 years. And he was like, dude, they have a private suite for me at this hotel. Like, I'm sick of coming to Hawaii. I used to love it. I hate coming here.
You know what they told him? Well, then stop losing.
Stop losing the NFC conference. Yep. Oh man! So then he went to Kansas City and brought him like 17 rings. Like, couldn't do. Listen, he has his chance to bring a ring to Philadelphia. All he has to lose, all he's got to do is lose. That's it. All he has to do is lose, and he finally brings that ring to Philadelphia. I'm just
If he
saying.
truly cares about Philadelphia, he'll lose this game.
Yep. Absolutely.
All right. That brings us nicely into the NBA Game of the Week. This week we had. Do you want to take this one, Adam, or do you want me to just do
Yeah.
the recap?
All right, I'll take this one. All right, so
Comes a new challenger!
I love that. All right, so this week's game, I found out that Tom gets an F because he didn't watch the game because apparently he didn't read when I told him that the login for the NBA site was on the Discord channel. So he caught the highlights, which I'll give him. I guess I'll give him a D for it. So at least he caught highlights of the game. But Tom couldn't watch it because he missed where I said, "Hey, Discord channel has the login information."
I did.
But anyway, so this week's game was the San Antonio Spurs versus the Indiana Pacers over in Paris, France. And the NBA has started doing the Paris games this year because their new rising star is from France. And so they're trying to bank on that marketability and build him up, not just here in the US, but also in France, which honestly makes a lot of sense. So the first game that they played was last Thursday, and then they also played a game on Saturday as well. So,
Which went way
this,
different.
huh?
Which went way different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't watch the Saturday game because I just watched the Thursday game. I was watching a few other games instead because I don't like to watch the same teams play back-to-back games like that. There's a lot of other games I watch instead. So. But it was a cool atmosphere to watch this in France because this was the first NBA game they played in France like this since the Dream Team was there in the 90s.
Oh wow. That's
and
pretty cool.
they mentioned that in the broadcast. This was the first real NBA game there in like 40 years. So it was pretty neat. And they've had a lot of players from France and from Europe in the NBA, and they had some of them there with them. And they had them there before the game and everything. And during the introductions, all the team intros were all in French and everything, and it was just really kind of cool to hear like the French intros and all that. And I'm like, this is really cool. I'm like,
Yeah.
why doesn't English sound as cool as French does? It's like, I'm sorry, it just sounds so much cooler hearing
Dude.
this in French.
To that point, like we always get to see the like stuff that happens during the commercial breaks, And so it's like, the half court shot and the kiss cam and the t-shirt cannon and stuff like that they do for all these games. And they did the whole thing in French, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. Like, last time we did a game, I skipped all that stuff because like this is a part of the game, and I'm like watching it in French. I'm just like, this is captivating. Like he's just like shouting in French, and then every now and again he'd say something in English, and I would just kind of crack up laughing. I don't know why, but it was like the funniest thing to me. Just like suddenly, like they were doing. I don't think it was the half court shot, but it was like you had to take certain shots all around the key, and like you got different points, and the winner got, I guess, a watch, which I guess was the same watch that the guy who was introducing them was wearing. I don't speak French. All I know is like they show this watch and he's yelling French and all the guys are excited, and then he shows his own watch. It's identical to the one he's giving away, which is like, I don't know who that guy was, but hey, you get his watch. And and then all of a sudden he goes, 1, 2, 3, go! And it was like, wait a minute. Why didn't you count in French?
Nice. Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it's fine. Maybe that's the same way that people that don't speak English feel the same way when they like watch stuff in English like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same thing or not, but I don't know, like being a native English speaker than listening to or watching a sporting event in French or a different language like that, it just makes everything just seem so much cooler and so much more just over the top and just grand. I don't know, it just makes it feel way cooler.
Yeah. And
I watched it with the English commentator, and I even have a big comment here. It says, "Please tell the commentator to stop mutilating the French language. He can't speak it. It doesn't even sound right."
Like I listen to the English commentary as well. I listen the game when I watch the game, I watch it with the Pacers broadcast team, and they didn't try to speak French. They never once tried to copy it. But just the intro, just the team intros were done in French for me.
yeah.
And like mine with the Pacers broadcast, they skipped all of the like timeout stuff, so like all the kiss cam and all stuff. They skipped it. It just went over all of that, so I didn't see any of that stuff or any of like the games or any of the timeout stuff or anything. So I didn't even see that.
That's so funny how different we all experienced it, because I watched just the national broadcast as they showed it. So it was like the intros were in French, and then like the commercial breaks were in French, but everything during the game was English.
Okay. Yeah.
There was this bit where Wembanyama made a big score, and the commentator goes, he parlez-vous français? And I'm like, what did you just say?
You sure you didn't have that tuned to the Indiana broadcast?
No,
Parlez-vous français?
I'm pretty sure
Down
that
with
was,
Jim Bob.
I'm betting that was the Spurs broadcast. Because I had the Pacers broadcast, and that was definitely not the Pacers broadcast. I'm betting that was the Spurs broadcast.
I would hope if it's the Spurs, you know not to say that kind of crap about Wembanyama.
That's the Spurs broadcast. It's Texas, buddy.
Oh, man.
Fair.
But speaking of, so a couple things. One, I loved that this game was in France because I use sports as a way to vicariously travel. And like, I know how that sounds a little ridiculous, but one of the things that I love about sports is they go to other people's cities, and like during the game, they show the skyline, they show the sights around town, they talk about things that people do in the city. Sometimes they show the foods of the city. And like, I love cooking shows, but I don't like travel cooking shows. Like, my travel cooking show is watching like a football game in Germany and seeing them, like seeing the food of Germany. Like, that's my travel cooking show. Watching France, the game in France and them zooming out and showing that big arch. I'm never going to see that in my real life. Like, that's where I get it. And it's something I learned from watching cycling, actually. I started getting real into the Tour de France, like, I don't know, at this point, like 7-8 years ago. And it's like, the great thing about cycling is, like, you don't really have to pay attention that much to the race. Of course, you want to watch the race because it's a race, but you get to see all the scenery, all the stuff they're riding past. And it's like, holy crap, like there's this whole other aspect to it. And so I love that it was in France, but I hated the fact that this was a Pacers home game. It was complete bullshit. Like, you get a finite number of home games. And, like, if you're at a home game and the crowd starts chanting defense when you're on offense, that's a problem. And that's what happened in this game. So, like, I feel like they really kind of, and woe is the Patriots, the heavy is the head that wears the crown, I guess. I don't know. But, like, I think it was bullshit that it was a Pacers home game. It should have been a Spurs home game, and the Pacers should have had another game in Indiana to make up for the fact that this was a home game. Like, it's some bullshit.
Well, they got to split it, right? I mean, they had 2 games in Paris. One of them was a Pacers home, and one of them was a Spurs home, but they were both in Paris.
Yeah, but really both were technically a Spurs. I mean, really, in all reality, both were a Spurs home game.
Right.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
And I mean, in my defense, when I made that note, I had no idea they were going to be playing a second game.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that game would be in Paris as well. But still, it's bullshit.
I mean, the first one was technically a Pacers home game, but Pete's not wrong on that point. Because, like I said, this game was designed around Wembanyama coming home to France. Because he's from, I don't know if he's from Paris necessarily, but he's from around the Paris area. So
yeah, I think they said like 45 minutes outside.
Okay, and he put on a show in this game too.
Oh,
he absolutely put on a show. And they said at one point in the broadcast that Wembanyama's got more made threes than dunks in his NBA career at this point.
Right.
And I mean, but it's one of those things that they've talked since before he was even a rookie in the NBA, when he was still playing in France professionally, that he doesn't want to put on weight too fast because of how tall he is in his frame, that if he puts on weight too fast, it's going to put too much pressure on his joints and it's going to ruin his knees and his ankles too soon. So he wants to put on weight, but he wants to do it gradually as he gets older because he's only 21. So if he puts on a ton of weight early, it's just going to add more and more pressure to his lower body, and it's going to shorten his career. So it's not a bad. It's also, I mean, it's not a bad thing to wait and to put weight on like that as he gets older and his body can take it more.
I'm just saying, if he doesn't put the weight on soon, next time he has a game in Chicago, he should tie a wet tether around his waist, make sure someone has a good hold firm of that tether, because he's going to blow away. That man is a stick.
Embrace the lay slim.
Right? I mean, he may embrace the lay slim, but lay slim did have like 5 blocks this game.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
he was draining threes too. That one from they had one from like the logo, not quite the center, but like the edge of the logo. It was like, holy shit.
Yeah, where they had like Paris 25. He hit it from the 5 at that point.
Yeah,
and because he's. I feel like they go between 7'4" and 7'5", but he's like 7'5" with like an 8-foot wingspan, and you can definitely tell when he's on the court because they do not want to go in for a layup when they know he's roaming that paint, because he'll swat anything that's close to it.
Like a 7'5" with an 8-foot wingspan. It sounds like a boogeyman that a 10-year-old came up with and drew on a piece of paper.
Right. It's like a pterodactyl or something just roaming around there. Like that's why he's the biggest reason why I wanted to watch this game, just to have you guys watch what just almost alienish unicorn can do on the basketball court. And I mean, and they said so many times, like, when he took so many different like alley oops or dunks, like they were bad passes. But because he's so lanky and tall, he was still able to catch them and put them in because he can reach it when no one else can.
Start calling the guy Mr. Fantastic.
It's insane. Yeah, so it was like behind his head because he's like reaching back here to get it and still can. Like it's just it's insane of what he can do, and it's nuts. And like this game, It started off well, like with the first half. It started off close. Like I think when we got the first half, like I think there was like at most was like a 4 to 6 point lead was the biggest in the first half. But then at one like after the first half, like the Pacers just couldn't hit a shot in the second half at all. Like
Yeah.
it was really really bad. And then it just kind of became like it just became a snowball effect. They couldn't hit a shot, and then just morale died, and then
Right.
all like not pace, but like they just they just momentum. Everything just died. They didn't really try. Like there was no just everything just it just didn't they didn't care by the end of the game. Like it was almost kind of one that just put me on my misery by the end of the game at that
Right.
point. And I felt kind of bad watching because you could tell they just had no motivation to play at all by the end of that game. And you hate seeing that because you can tell that they had good shots, just they just weren't falling. They just
Yeah.
didn't want to fall.
Yeah.
And,
So a lot of times in the game, the commentary brought up the idea of putting a team in France or like putting a team in Europe. And they cut to, I guess, the commissioner of the NBA, which I don't know if you guys remember the old Six Flag commercials with the bald guy doing the dance, but that is what he looks like. He absolutely looks like the old Six Flags guy. And he's like the commissioner of the NBA, I guess. And he was like, absolutely not. We're not putting a team here. We'd need supersonic jets. Like, it's not possible. But I wanted to get your guys' opinion of the globalization of sports. You know how I feel. I love the globalization of football. Like, Chinese peewee football leagues make me smile. Like, I'm all for the globalization of my sports. What do you guys think about the globalization of basketball? And like, do you think there should be a World Cup like soccer? You know, every 4 years we have a tournament.
they
Like
do
outside
kind of
the
have.
Olympics?
They do well. They have the Olympics. They've also got what's called the FIBA Cup as well with basketball. So they do kind of have an international tournament that they do every few years with basketball. They did the FIBA Cup the year before the Olympics, this last round with the Summer Olympics. And so they do kind of do that already, actually. It just doesn't get a whole lot of attention outside of the basketball community, like the way that the World Cup does. But no, I love the growth of basketball and the worldwide organization of basketball. It's grown so much in Europe. It's grown a ton in China. It's grown a lot in the Philippines as well. It is huge in the Philippines right now. It's grown a lot over there. It's growing a lot in Africa too. The NBA has Africa academies down there as well. It's getting so much bigger around the world. We're getting tons of talent in the NBA through so many different places now. Right now in the NBA, right now, like of the top 10 players in the NBA, I think five of them, or probably 5 or 6 of them, are internationally born. They're not even from
wow.
the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
So it's like we've got more top end international talent in NBA than we've ever had. So it's great. I love it. And I mean, there's tons of leagues around the world right now, especially like I said, in Europe, in Africa, in China, in the Philippines, in Japan. Like we've got leagues all over the place. Canada has leagues like this. So I mean, we're getting them everywhere. Mexico has it. We've got like the NBA also has the G League as well. So I mean, we've got like I guess you call it a minor league NBA system where each team now has their own G League affiliate that they can use to develop talent as well. So I mean, we've got basketball is continually growing throughout the world, and I love it. I mean, the more that we can grow this sport and grow it, the better I think it becomes for everybody. The same with all sports, I think. I mean, it grows camaraderie. It just grows everything. It makes everything better, I think.
I still remember this past summer when they were having the Olympics, and they were talking about ESPN was talking about the U.S. basketball team, and there was this lady who was angry that some of the best NBA players were not playing for Team USA, and then she said they were being selfish and all that, and they had to tell her, it's like, no, they can't play for Team USA because Wembanyama's from France, and Jokic is from
Serbia.
Serbia, thank you. I was going to say Russia, and I was like, no, that's not right.
Yeah, they're the same thing. I think it's hilarious that she's saying they're being selfish because they're going back to their home country and playing for their home country instead of going to the country that gives them money and playing for their paycheck. Like, that's hilarious to me.
She wasn't saying they were selfish for going to their country. She was under the impression that they were refusing to play at all because they weren't on Team USA. She didn't realize that they were playing for their home countries.
So what do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like you should play for the country that you play professionally, or do you feel like you should play for the country you come from?
I think you should play, honestly, where you should play where you come from, not where you play professionally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and honestly, most of the guys that come from other countries like that, they don't want to play where they're playing at. They want to play for their country.
Yeah.
They see it as more of an honor to play for their country.
Right.
Yep.
Like, they don't care to play for the U.S. They want to play for their country.
Yeah. 100%.
Unless you're Joel Embiid, then you're just a merchant.
I mean, in the world of football, man, their 2028 Olympics is going to have football in it, and I really hope Jordan Mailata gets to play for the Australian team. I think that'll be really cool.
That would be really cool. Yeah.
Adam, who do you have us watching this coming week? And I promise I'll watch it this time.
All right. So this week we are going to be watching the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Houston Rockets. This game actually is going to be airing tomorrow night at 9:30. So, and since this is not a game in either one of our markets, we can actually, if you want to, you could watch this live tomorrow night at 9:30. Or sorry, 7:30. My bad. I think it's 7:30. It's either 7:30 or 9:30. One of the two.
Depending on what time zone you're in.
Nah, I can't remember if they put 7:30 or 9:30, because I don't know if they put it in military time or like regular time. So it's one of the two. But it's on NBA.com. So if you go to the Discord server, Tom, you can get the login and then watch it through the NBA.
I promise. All right.
But
So
yeah, this is what I'm excited for, because these are two of the younger teams in the NBA. So this should be like more of a fast-paced game. So this should be kind of this is what I'm kind of hoping for. They'll kind of like be running and just kind of be a faster pace, maybe a little bit higher, possibly a little bit higher scoring team. But they've got some good defense too on it. So there was kind of something I wanted to talk. Huh?
It's 9:30, by the way.
Oh, okay, 9:30.
Yep.
This was kind of something I wanted to maybe talk a little bit about. Something I wanted to bring up that you had mentioned with the last game about the commentary and stuff, Pete, is with the NBA and with basketball sometimes, depending on how the teams are playing, because you talked about like they didn't really kind of break down like how, like, you know, why certain things were happening or what was going on like during the game and stuff. With like, especially with the NBA, just how fast it moves. A lot of times you really don't have the time to do it because there's always something going on. You really don't have that time to really break down a play as it, like, after it happens and when it's going on, the way you do with football. So it can be hard sometimes for some games just for that to happen. And that's why, and like I said, some commentary booths are better at doing that than others. And I think a lot of times with the national broadcast, they're not as good as doing that as at all. Not at all, but like just they're not as good as doing that. That's why I said when I was listening to the Pacers commentary, I think the Pacers commentary did a better job of kind of breaking down, like, you know, plays and why they were able to get like an open look or why this happened in different ways about and like that as well. So,
yeah.
But Yeah, the Pacers. I do think the Pacers Spurs game was a slower paced game than the Cavs Thunder one was as well. They weren't quite going as quickly as that as the Cavs and the Thunder were on that one as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the commentary team was a little better in this game than the first one.
so
But they still didn't explain penalties. Like, I still just don't understand penalties at all in basketball. Like, if they blow the whistle, they'd be like, oh, yep, that's a penalty. And, like, I know that if the guy who's getting the penalty committed against him, if he's shooting, he gets to shoot. And if he's not shooting, his team just gets the ball. But other than that, like, penalties are a complete black box still.
this game they didn't have as many fouls. This one they kind of let them just play.
Yeah, that's what they were saying on commentary too. And it was one of those things where it's like, oh, they're just really letting them play here, and I'm like, are they?
Yeah,
Like, I haven't heard you guys say like, oh, that should have been a foul. Oh, this should have been a foul. I just thought this was a good, clean game. And I was like,
this one felt more like a. This one felt like they kind of refereed it more like an international game, because with the international games like this, they let more go with international games. So this one was kind of more. They let them play through a lot more and just kind of let them play the game. Honestly, you didn't have a lot more of those like ticky tack or just kind of soft fouls that you get in some of the NBA games. They just
Right.
kind of let them go out there and just play the game. Honestly, so it's kind of nice.
yeah.
So
To close out the segment, I will say that Pete is right. Adam Silver does look like the Six Flags guy. And, that brings us to the trivia section. This is a game called Who Am I? Pro Bowl Edition.
Ooh.
I have a list of NFL players. I will give you 3 clues to help you try and guess who they are. After each clue, you both get to guess in turn. First one to guess who I am gets the point. Since this is the Pro Bowl edition, these are all NFL players who are in Pro Bowls, but none of them have won a Super Bowl.
okay.
Okay.
For the first one, Adam, you start us off. I was a running back drafted number 5 overall in 2001, and I was part of 2 teams in my career.
Ricky Williams.
No. Pete, do you want to try?
2001. Ricky Williams is a good guess, but that's a year late, I think. I think he was drafted in 2000. And I only know that because the 2000 was when McNabb was drafted. Philly hated the fact that we picked McNabb instead of Ricky Williams. That might have been 99. No, 99 was Manning's year, and then 2000 was McNabb.
98
Anyway,
was Manning's here. But
I was in. All right, maybe then I am off by a year. Anyway, all right. 2000 running back, 2 different teams, never won a Super Bowl. Been to the Pro Bowl.
2001.
2001. Sorry.
No worries.
I know who it is now.
I'm gonna go AJ Peterson.
No.
Not AJ. What was his first name?
Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian Peterson.
No.
No.
Adam, I was part of San Diego Chargers from 2001 to 2009,
Daniel Tomlinson.
and then the Jets in 2010 and 2011.
As soon as you said the San Diego Chargers, it was like, oh, it was LT.
Pete, I was a wide receiver drafted number 21 overall in 1998, and I was part of 6 teams.
So, I can't think of what the 16 would have been, but my guess is Terrell Owens.
Incorrect. Adam, do you want to try and steal?
98. I'm trying to think. Minnesota, Vegas, or Oakland, New England. It's like there's a couple after that. Is it Randy Moss?
It is Randy Moss.
You know, Randy Moss was my other idea that I was flipping between, but I only thought Randy Moss had played for like 3 teams. All I could think of was Minnesota and New England, and it was like I know he went one other place.
I knew he went to Oakland because he was in I was shocked that he signed with Oakland, like voluntarily signed in Oakland.
You got the first 3, and then after that it was Vikings, Titans, and 49ers.
I forget. See, I forgot he went. That's right. He did go back to Minnesota. I always forget about the Titans and the 49ers.
Yeah.
But yeah, people forget he never won a Super Bowl.
You know, it's stunning that he never won a Super Bowl. He was so talented.
He was on the best New England teams too, and they never won a Super Bowl when he was there.
He was on the 50 touchdown year.
Yeah.
He was like 26 of those 50 touchdowns.
Adam, I was a wide receiver / punt returner, drafted number 57 overall in 2006, and I was part of 4 teams.
Wide receiver / punt returner. 4 teams. This wouldn't be Chicago Bears loser Devin Hester, would it?
It would be Devin Hester, yes.
He was also a cornerback.
Yeah, I was
before
going to
he
say,
a
I thought
receiver.
Devin Hester was a corner.
He was when he first came into the league.
Yeah,
But it was one of the...
He's on
the second
record
you
as-
said... Sorry, go ahead.
No, he's just on record as a wide receiver / punt returner. And I'm like, really? Do you have to put punt returner on there? That's not
The
necessary.
second you said punt returner, I was like, oh, it's Devin Hester.
Only Devin Hester is that vain to put that on his title.
There's one other player I would put punt returner on their title, and
Dion?
Guess nope, not Dion. You know what? I'll give Dion. He can be number 3, although I'd probably put him number 2 with the 3 names that I'm picking. Can you guess who the other one would be?
Deshaun Jackson.
Nope. Although he does have some epic punt returns. Darren
drop on the 1
Sproles.
yard
Come on,
line.
guys.
Oh,
Darren
Darren Sproles.
He's like number 2 for punt return. He's like tied for number 2 punt returns for touchdowns, but it's like an 8-way tie, and then Devin Hester is like 10 in front of everybody else.
Pete, I was a wide receiver, drafted number 49 overall in 2008, and I was part of 6 teams.
Shoo. All right, 2008. Drafted 21, so you were in the first round. And you were part
Drafted
of 16.
49.
Oh, 49. All right, so you're in the second round.
Beginning of the second round, yeah.
Yeah. Second round receiver. 6 different teams since 2008. 2008. I don't know why my brain wants to say Devontae Adams. That seems like way too long ago for him to still be playing. Drafted in the second round. 2008, my goodness. Who would have been drafted around that time? I mean, I'm going to go Deshaun Jackson because I can't think of a better answer, but I know that's wrong.
It is Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, shit.
Wow, nice.
Oh, man, I would have put him at, like, drafted at, like, 04 or 05.
I didn't know he was drafted in the second round.
I felt like I knew he was drafted in the second round, which is why I was leaning towards him, but I thought he was way earlier than that.
Adam, I was a defensive end, drafted number 11 overall in 2011. 11. And I
Does
was
he wear
part of
number 11?
2 teams.
2 teams. Number 11 back in 2011.
He played for 11 teams. No.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, God. Wait, what position does he play?
Defensive end.
Okay.
I'm like a defensive end, man. He changed positions. It's Fitzmagic.
That's right.
Let's see. 2 teams. Well, the first 2 dudes I thought of weren't drafted 11th. They were drafted earlier than that. I'm pretty sure they were both drafted number 1. No, Jared Allen played for more than 2 teams. He 2011. You know what? I'm gonna go with it. Jared Allen.
No, Pete, do you want to steal?
Whew. All right. So 2011 is 13 years ago, which means he's in the twilight of his career, or his career has just recently ended. He's played for 2 teams, and he's a defensive end. Oh, man. Was it the... what's the younger one's name? TJ Watt?
No.
No. Okay.
I was part of the Houston Texans from 2011 to 2020, and then the Arizona Cardinals from 2021 to 22.
Damn it.
Who was it?
Well, it's JJ Watt. That's the younger one. That's the older one.
Did I seriously pick his brother?
Yep.
Oh my God.
TJ is the current Watt.
It killed me to say no to that.
I thought it would have been the younger one based upon the years. I would have put JJ Watt as being drafted at like 2006.
Yep. Nope. TJ is the one that's currently playing. JJ's Watt's the one that just recently retired.
Jesus. Man, I was so close.
Yep.
Pete, I am a defensive end drafted number 1 overall in 1985, and I was part of 2 teams.
No. Okay, 1985 was the year I was born. You were part of 2 teams. Defensive end. It's not Bruce Smith, is it?
It is indeed Bruce Smith.
Yeah!
And I just want to go on record as I did not assign these. This is Jesus again.
I'm pretty positive every time the answer is Bruce Smith, you give me the question. I'm just saying.
That's what I was saying. As I wanted to preface that I did not do this.
You know, I would not have got it because my first thought was going to be for Reggie White.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking Reggie White too, and I was like, I'm going Bruce Smith. He was my favorite player.
Adam, I was a tight end drafted number 13 overall in 1997, and I was part of 2 teams in my career.
Tight end, 1997. Let's see. That's going to be a while. You know what? I think this is going to be the legendary Tony Gonzalez.
It sure is.
Nice pick. Nice.
Chiefs and then Falcons. Pete, for our last question of the evening.
All right.
I was a wide receiver drafted number 2 overall in 2007, and I was part of 1 team.
Drafted number 2 overall in 2007, and you played your entire career with the same team. Wow. All right. So let's put this into some context. Who won the Super Bowl in 2007?
Would that have been the Giants-Patriots Super Bowl?
I think that was 2008. The undefeated season. I thought it
Yeah.
was 2008. Maybe the game was played in 2008.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I think '06 was Colts, Browns, or Bears, rather. And
So
then the
who would
following
have?
year.
Ooh. All right. This is a wild guess, but I think the timeline works right, and I think he only played for one team, and the draft choice seems right. So I'm gonna go with Megatron, which would be Calvin Johnson of the Detroit Lions.
From '07 to 2015, Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. Nice.
I love that you guys never got to the third clue on any of them.
Do you know who was picked before him, number 1 in that draft?
Who?
Oh.
Jamarcus Russell by the Oakland Raiders.
Oh my God.
Not
Wow.
a better pick. No.
Oh,
Uh,
Megatron.
but with a final score of Adam 5, Pete 3, I am just super impressed that you guys never got to the third clue on any of them.
I think we only got the second clue twice.
Yeah.
Like,
Because the third clue was always the years they were in the Pro Bowl and how many NFL records they had. And all of them have NFL records except for... Nope, all of them. All of them have NFL records.
There you go.
yeah. All right.
Even if J.J. Watt's record is the seasons with 20-plus sacks is 2.
I mean, dude is a monster.
Yeah.
An absolute monster.
Yeah, he was insane. Remember when teams would prepare for him, they would have assistant coaches standing in the backfield with tennis rackets in their hands to simulate his ability to knock the ball out of the air. It was insane.
Yep.
Like, yeah, they double teamed him and he still got 20 sacks. Like, dude
Yeah.
was. I remember those were, and I remember I was in a league those couple years where we had individual defensive players,
Yeah.
and like those couple years I was able to draft them, and I ended up
nice.
drafting them like 6th round because by that point I'd already picked up like a couple running backs and a couple receivers and a quarterback. So I'm like, who am I going to pick? A tight end or J.J. Watt, who's also being lined up as a tight end as well and catching touchdowns on top of playing defense.
Right.
Like, no, I'm going to pick J.J. Watt.
I can't believe that Texans team wasn't better. Like, I don't think they even made it to a conference championship,
Nope.
if I'm not mistaken.
They've never made a
Like,
conference championship.
And they were so good. It's shocking.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It ranks up there with Calvin Johnson's Lions.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shaw was
Calvin
never a
Johnson.
good quarterback. They never had a good quarterback. Their offensive line wasn't. If I remember right, I don't think their offensive line was very good either.
Yeah.
So it's like they had a good defense. They had a pretty good running back. Arian Foster was a good running back. They had
Arian
some good
Foster, yeah.
receivers. Just Matt Schaub and the offensive line just were mediocre. They just couldn't get it done. Plus, I mean, we hate to say it, it was Peyton and Brady, man. We had to go
That's
through
true.
Peyton, Brady, Roethlisberger, and Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
It's hard to run that gauntlet.
Yeah.
You unfortunately just had that buzzsaw of AFC quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you beat one. Who's waiting?
Well, we got it again too with Mahomes and Lamar
Burrow
Jackson and
Burrow and
Josh
Allen.
Allen. Yeah, Burrow.
So it's
It's like it's one of those things where, like, as much as I love Patrick Mahomes, and I really do, and I love the Chiefs, and I really do love the Chiefs. Andy Reid is my second favorite coach of all time, obviously behind Doug Peterson because he won a Super Bowl, and I'll never put someone in front of him until someone else wins a Super Bowl. But like, he's great. He's fantastic. But I wish they would just go away for a little while so we could see what the rest of the teams could do, because they're too good for the AFC, and no one's going to be able to stop them. They're going to be in the Super Bowl next year. They might be in the Super Bowl after that. Like, it's ridiculous.
It's kind of like watching the Bulls in the 90s. Until Jordan got retired for 2 years, nobody else could win.
Right?
As the great Ric Flair once said, if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man.
All right, and that's going to be it for us for today, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Geeks and Greeks podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Until next time, may the coin toss of life ever be in your favor.
Go Birds.
Peace.